So in this video, I want to talk to you about whether you can actually write your doctoral dissertation in a month, if that's actually possible. So if you don't know me, I am a professor at Malsack. I'm an associate professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. It sounds funny when I say that. I've been a professor for a number of years, but it still sounds funny. So the whole reciprocity project is I want to give back as much as I possibly can. So I created this sort of sharing economy editing platform and then doing all these YouTube videos, as well as we've got a pretty large blog now. It's a pretty big resource, I think, for anybody that is doing research or is in graduate school, undergraduate, just kind of curious about all this kind of stuff. So, can you actually do a PhD dissertation in a month? Yeah, you could totally get it done, but here's the thing. I would totally not recommend it at all. In terms of getting your dissertation done in a month, it would be terrible, likely be very terrible, and few people are ever going to read it. You're not going to get any sort of publications from this. It is going to be kind of a waste of your time to do that. But here's the thing, that being said, I really want to point out that if you were to do a PhD dissertation in a month, this is what I would do and what I would focus on. And so actually I want to just sort of stop here and say, most of the time we try to encourage people to actually slow down, to get more publications, to actually get a sort of a stream of research that's being done and to do a really good job on their dissertation. It's not the time. It's actually the effort that you're putting into it that is going to be the biggest predictor of what you're going to do with it. So you could probably actually get your PhD dissertation done in a week if you really wanted to. It would be a complete disaster, and you would have to sort of look for people that have very low quality standards in terms of working with you, but you can get it done. It's is it something that you're going to be proud of and that's actually going to be worth your time and it's going to net you any sort of value in the future? Absolutely not. It's just not going to be worth your time. And so this is what I would do regardless of that. This is what I would do in terms of writing a dissertation in a month. This is what I would actually sort of focus on. What you should be doing is not really focusing on analyzing the data in any sort of way. It should be already analyzed at that moment. And, sort of preface with this is that you're not doing any of the analysis. You've done all of this sort of bull work to get to that moment. You're not doing any data collection in any sort of way. It's really just writing up the dissertation that you actually have. You've already processed and done all that kind of stuff. So this is what I would sort of do is really just getting, the biggest thing is just finding some sort of dissertation supervisors or just wanting you to get out. And, just really, they're going to be wanting you to actually probably exit academia, if that's the case. Because there's just so much work, there's so much effort. I don't think you understand at this moment how much work actually goes into doing a research project that is going to be good and people are going to read it and actually going to be publishable. There's just a ridiculous amount of work that's involved, and you just cannot physically get it done in a month to actually do that. So you need to look for supervisors that have just very low quality standards, and they want you to get out and work in industry or go find something else. I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying that's where you have to look for. Because it's just, it's really not going to work in your favor. What the other thing you have to sort of focus on is really focus on practical problems that have very little theoretical implications. So what does that mean? That means it is very much focused on one sort of itty-bitty thing, and it's not generalizable in any sort of thing. So you do, research on what is the best chewing gum, and then you just simply go out and you chew different types of chewing gum, so like Hubba Bubba, Wrigley's, Trident, and then you just write it up and say, this is, you've done this sort of experiment on these different chewing gums, and this is the best chewing gum that you have, and then that's the dissertation would be that. Now that's not going to win any sort of prizes or anything like that. But that's what you kind of have to do in terms of getting out. The other thing is not get any feedback on your dissertation and just get it done, get it out. That feedback takes a long time. It takes a lot of effort, because what it does is you're going to work on this thing and get it, to the point where it's actually doable, and you send it to somebody and they're going to say, this is total, utter baloney, humbug, and you have to redo it and completely redo everything. And so you want to avoid that. So just don't get any feedback at all. So to do your dissertation quickly, the biggest thing is just actually do a lot of upfront planning and actually get it all sort of organized and making sure it's really simple. And that the biggest thing that you can do, that the best way to sort of speed up your dissertation, is just do it all so it's all laid out, just like the sort of scientific method. Then it's just perfectly laid out and you're just executing. And you're just simply stepping through different things. If you find something that doesn't sort of jive with what you're doing, stop and just keep moving forward. Or if the analysis is just it's more difficult than you thought, stop and just move forward into something else and just keep moving forward. You want to make sure that you're not spending that much time on any of those sort of things. So writing it up, it's actually going to be really easy for the most part. And I think most people can write things up, the ideas that you have. But the issue is getting a thoughtful idea is really hard to get to that point. It's not writing it up is the issue. It's actually having that thoughtful insight into the world. And if you go to any PhD program, doctoral program that's worth its weight, they can really push you on some of these things, and you're going to feel really actually a little crushed because it's just really hard to come up with a good idea. And if you're not feeling that sort of it's just overwhelming, then it's just going to be hard to get into anything into publication form. So just be well aware of that. And what I would recommend for doing your dissertation is really just plan on it taking anywhere from 1 to 3 to 4 years. And, probably an average is probably going to be like 2 years, 2.5 years to actually complete this thing, where you start it and you go through some iterations of doing, proposals, and then you analyze the data. It just takes a while of doing these kind of things. And, you're just going to do this sort of process where you're doing that. You can probably get it done quickly enough in a year, but there's still lots of work to be done, and it's very intermittent, where you work on it for a good couple months, and then you have to put it aside because it's going off to somebody else, and they have to look at it, and it just takes some time, and you just have to sort of acknowledge that process is going to take time to actually get this thing done, and to sort of coordinate all the different meetings that you're going to have. If you're working with anybody in any sort of way, the coordination costs are huge, and it just takes a long time. It's very time consuming to do all these kind of things. So what I would do instead is, instead of focusing on doing this thing as fast as I possibly can, getting it done in a month, what I would do is focus on getting it done in a reasonable amount of time, but then do a good job at it. So you actually have something that people are proud about, and they're going to be wanting to talk to you. That's going to be rigorous. That's going to be the biggest thing, is to really pull back on that sort of constraint of getting it done in a month. That's going to be terrible for you. And you want to make sure that you just get it done in a reasonable amount of time, and it's going to be good work. And you should be really just focusing on doing the good work. So if it takes you a little longer to do good work, then so be it. That's what it is. That's what the cost is, and that's why you should be thinking about it. Really focus on doing the good work, and everything's going to sort of fall from that. So with that, give me a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Take care, and have a wonderful day. Bye.